What did LeBron do? LeBron had done something to me. And he was coming to UFC fights and he wasn't doing autographs, and it was just one of these things that rubbed me the wrong way. And he and I have one thing in common. We use the same drug dealer to buy our EPO.
What Ric Bucher didn't spell out still hit the NBA world like a lightning strike. The tone of his voice alone sent a shockwave across the whole basketball scene. A shockwave that's been building quietly for years. Because think about this. What if the most durable, high-performing superstar of this entire era isn't just gifted with elite genetics? What if there's something extra people believe is in the mix? And here's the part that makes fans sit straight up in their seats. Bucher says people inside the league already believe it, not random fans arguing online. We're talking coaches, trainers, and even players whispering behind closed doors like it's some open secret they don't want on record. These folks aren't just curious anymore. They're treating the whole thing like the answer is obvious. But to understand how little whispers turned into full-blown talk the league can't ignore anymore, we gotta trace where the storyline started. Ric Bucher cracked the door open when he went on a podcast. This dude is a longtime NBA insider and straight-up league veteran. He didn't accuse LeBron of anything. He didn't need to. He just dropped this one line. There Chael Sonnen straight up said, "LeBron and I have the same guy, same source for EPO."
Lord, he dunking? He's still dunking the ball with.
I'm saying that Bronny can get a bucket on Bron.
I'm saying he can't. One rollout, get a bucket.
3 dribbles?
No way. I'm talking about.
He can get a bucket on him.
No.
Man, come on, that little dude explosive, bro.
He is, but you seen his dad? His dad on that balcony. He on that new balcony.
He sliding like he used to.
He didn't pause, didn't smirk, didn't toss out a "just kidding." He said it with full confidence like he was ordering lunch. And EPO, erythropoietin, isn't some fitness vitamin. It's a serious performance booster, the same type of enhancer that kept Lance Armstrong ruling cycling for years. Sonnen didn't throw this out once either. He kept repeating it on different shows like he was doubling down every time. And the wildest part? Nobody came out firing back. No statements shutting him down, no firm denials, nothing from anyone's team. Just straight silence. And silence in situations like this sometimes feels strategic. Now sure, someone could argue, bro, Chael's not NBA, he's UFC. Maybe he's stirring the pot for attention. And normally that might fly. But that whole excuse exploded the moment a true NBA legend walked into the conversation. That's when Kevin Garnett decided to drop his own little spark on the situation. And trust me, KG does not speak in riddles. Kevin Garnett isn't built to sugarcoat anything. If something's on his mind, he says it raw, loud, and clear. That's just who he is, always has been. So when he hinted LeBron was on that new juice, it didn't sound like a ha-ha joke. It sounded pointed, intentional. On a podcast, KG said, his dad on that balcony, he on that new sliding like he used to, new juice. That's not random chatter. That's a loaded message. And coming from KG, a champion, a leader, a dude who battled LeBron for years in real playoff wars, it hit way different. This wasn't some retired role player throwing shade from the sidelines. This was one of the most respected competitors of his generation, dropping a coded line that everybody in the room caught instantly.
One of the more annoying aspects, I'd say, of the idolatry of LeBron, that he is credited by some as being this sensei that has the answer to all things basketball, and that everybody is going to him for the answers. Now, we know for a fact that guys did that with Kobe. I don't know of anybody who has said, yes, I sought out LeBron to find out his secrets. I certainly, look, I appreciate LeBron for what he's done. I just don't make the assumption that everyone wants to be him. And there's also the nagging question about exactly how he's maintained such extraordinary fitness at such a ripe age. But we all know what the speculation is out there. And I can assure you there's plenty of it privately by players and personnel in the league. Like, I've always thought, maybe it could be. And I've had players and coaches say things to me like they take it for granted. They assume it's true. It always catches me a little off guard. They're just like, oh yeah.
When an outsider like Sonnen says it, people wave it off. But when Kevin Garnett says it, the whole conversation flips instantly. This is KG, a Hall of Famer, a certified warrior, someone who understands elite performance at the highest level. And even he's implying, in his own cryptic way, that something about this whole story doesn't add up. The bounce, the stamina, the durability at nearly 40, it made people start connecting dots they weren't connecting before. There's also the nagging question about exactly how he's maintained such extraordinary fitness at such a late stage in his career. I've had players and coaches say things to me like, they take it for granted, they assume it's true. Bruh, let that breathe for a second. Coaches and players, people who study athletes for a living, saying they assume LeBron is getting extra help? That's wild. And what made it even crazier, Booker didn't sound shocked at all. He sounded like someone who's been hearing these whispers forever and finally decided to say it out loud. He wasn't launching anything new. He was just echoing something that's been simmering under the surface for years. And if you really want to see how far this storyline stretches, you gotta rewind to the guy who never holds his tongue. The guy who jumps headfirst into controversy like it's a sport. Chael Sonnen, former UFC fighter and full-time talk your head off specialist, said the quiet part out loud. Chael isn't known for being subtle, and when he casually dropped his bomb on a podcast, the whole room went silent for a second like, did he really just say that? Some folks swear what we're seeing is straight up greatness, but others look at it and can't shake the feeling that something just ain't adding up. And it's not only players whispering behind the scenes, the league's whole media machine might be tangled up in this too. That's the part nobody wants to poke because it gets uncomfortable fast. The NBA has a lot on the line with LeBron. He's not just another star, he's a worldwide attraction. When he's hooping, ratings spike. When he eventually steps away, the league loses a massive chunk of its global identity. So here's the uncomfortable question. If something questionable was happening, would the NBA even want the full truth?
Wife is not enjoying what I do on a day-to-day basis inside the bubble. Getting ready for a game, let's just say that. It's been a lot of time on my body for sure.
Okay, Keisha has one or two.
Would they risk global backlash by digging deep? Or would they do what big institutions usually do? Stay quiet, keep everything smooth, and look the other way while smiling for the cameras? We've seen this kind of storyline before. Lance Armstrong didn't get exposed until he was basically out the door, and even then it took years before everything blew up. Why? Because everyone ate off the illusion, everyone benefited, and maybe, just maybe, the NBA is hanging on to its own illusion right now. Which brings us right back to what Ric Bucher said, because the next part he dropped landed even heavier than everything before it. He said there's a culture of quiet acceptance. He didn't just tease it, he straight up said he's talked to multiple people, players, coaches, trainers, who don't suspect LeBron might be using something. They assume it, and that's where the whole topic gets dangerous, because once people privately accept something, it becomes normal. Nobody challenges it. Nobody asks questions. It just becomes the unspoken rule of the room. Booker even admitted, it always catches me off guard. They'll just say, oh yeah, that's going on, like it's just understood. That's wild. Imagine that. A player crushing the league well into his late 30s and pushing toward his 40s with unreal athletic ability. And the people closest to the sport are shrugging like it's common knowledge. No failed tests, no official reports, no public accusations, just a quiet room full of insiders who give each other that look. The look that says plenty without saying one word. It's like watching a magician pull off the same trick night after night, and eventually people stop asking how he does it. The illusion stays strong, but only as long as nobody decides to walk behind the curtain and see what's really there. And what if that curtain has already started to shift just a little? Because this pattern we're seeing, it isn't new. This isn't the first time an athlete has looked almost too superhuman. Lance Armstrong, Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez. They all had armies of loyal fans. They all shut down rumors, and yet the early signs were the same every time. Crazy longevity, unreal production deep into their careers, insiders whispering behind the scenes, and absolute silence whenever uncomfortable questions floated around. And for years, no proof, until suddenly there was. That's the part that makes people look at this situation differently. But let's be real, nobody has proven anything about LeBron. No failed tests, no investigations, no official accusations, nothing concrete on paper. But the pattern a lot of people keep pointing to is starting to feel way too familiar for some folks inside the game. And what's wild is those insiders, the people who understand the pattern best, aren't exactly sprinting to defend him. Some stay quiet, others play like they haven't heard a thing, and honestly, that silence might be the loudest part of this entire story. So the uncomfortable question floating around is this: is LeBron James getting some type of boost? Is he tapping into some futuristic, cutting-edge recovery method that keeps him one step ahead of aging? The question is out there, and the people closest to the sport aren't exactly slamming the door on it. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but the fact that Ric Bucher said what he said, that Chael Sonnen doubled down, that Kevin Garnett dropped his own cryptic hints, and insiders keep treating these conversations like they're normal barbershop talk, that tells you one thing: this isn't some wild internet rumor anymore. It's a real discussion happening in the shadows. And whether LeBron is completely clean, getting a little extra help, or somewhere in the mysterious middle, the league might not be emotionally ready for whatever the truth might be if it ever comes out. Because the longer he keeps dominating at this level, the louder those whispers get. And whispers have a funny way of turning into full-blown headlines. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next deep dive. See you in the next one.